So just a quick video about something that I was just talking to myself about like minutes ago, because I am schizophrenic in that way. It's just a thought that like some people are really annoyed that back in the good old days and whatever, back in like when the 1960s, because they were good, and the 70s and the 80s they were a vibe and they were fun and whatever. Uh, Taking for granted that those people were born in that era or 10 years before, they don't miss those decades. I'm gonna use my dad as an example. He's from 1976. He doesn't miss the 1980s because they were better times. In Brazil, they were even worse than today. He misses that because he was a child. He wasn't caring about. He probably wasn't caring about the economic measures of the presidents at the time. He wasn't. He probably wasn't caring about the state of the Soviet Union and the Cold War and whatever and neoliberalism. No, what he was doing was just minding his own business and drawing trucks. He was just having fun. He was being a child. He misses that time because the only things he had to worry about was schoolwork and what to play with his friends next. He didn't have to worry about getting a job or figuring out where to live, uh, worrying about what the next president would do or worrying about politics at all. He wasn't doing that. He was being a child. And many people say that like the 2010s were much better than the 2020s and whatever, but they weren't. They really weren't. Like I really don't see it being better than today. There just isn't a reason. The only reason that we millennials, zoomers, whatever, look back on the 2010s and the 2000s as a better age than now is because we were growing up. I'm gonna use myself as an example now. I have a lot of nostalgia for 2010 and 2012, 2014, that time period. I have a lot of nostalgia for that. Why? Because I miss hearing the news about the the Islamic State, or because I miss seeing Russia invade Ukraine in 2014, or something else, or I don't know. Do I miss the the demonstrations against President Dilma at the time? No, I don't miss that. What I miss about that time doesn't doesn't have anything to do with politics. What I miss about that time is just having fun and being a child. Today I have to worry about about my future, of course, but also my job and where will I live and what life will I have with Steph. But like, my partner, and like 10 years ago, what I had to worry about was, holy shit, there's this new game called Five Nights at Freddy's. What's that about? And I had to worry about, I don't know. I remember that I was a big fan of Slenderman. Still am, kinda. I was a big fan of creepypastas, and you know, I just miss being a child and having the time to deal with that, because my only worries back then were schoolwork. Just schoolwork and what to play next on the street with my friends. That was all. People people have to accept that the past isn't better. The past wasn't better. I'm so sorry. The past wasn't better. People have to accept that. What changed is that you were a child. That's why you missed that time. And if you miss it for some other reason that doesn't have anything to do with that, and fair enough. But if you are a fascist and you miss that era, then we are on a whole different subject. Point is, if you miss just because, oh yeah, I remember doing this when I was uh, a child, then you are missing being a child. You don't miss time, that era. You don't miss the 2010s. You don't miss the 2000s. You don't miss the 90s. You miss being a child. That's what you miss. You miss your childhood. That's all. The same way that I miss 12 years ago, 14 years ago, the same way that I miss that time, people with 40 years, miss the 80s. That's natural. They were born there. Of course they will remember that time cherishingly, like, because they were children. So yeah, that's everything really. I need to eat right now. So yeah, goodbye.